and through to 11 only assembly for this year. Some of you are in new seats where you'll be more familiar and perhaps used to next year. So please enjoy your new view as you stand up ready to sing the school song to welcome us to our assembly.
Good morning, boys and staff. St Brendan's College acknowledges the Darumbal people as the traditional custodians of this land, recognising their continuing connection to lands, waters and communities. We take this opportunity to acknowledge all First Nations peoples present this morning. As we begin our reflection this morning, we do so in the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. A reading this morning from the Gospel of Mark. Jesus sat down opposite the place where the offerings were put and watched the crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts, but a poor widow came and put in 2 very small copper coins worth only a few cents. Calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. They all gave out of wealth, but she, out of poverty, put in everything, all she had to live on." This reading is referred to as the widow's offering, and it's a message of giving, but more importantly, the intention behind one's giving. In the story, Jesus is in the temple observing the people giving their offerings, many wealthy individuals contributing substantial amounts of money and making a show of their donations. However, Jesus noticed the poor widow putting in only 2 small copper coins, as I said, worth only a fraction of a penny. Jesus then teaches his disciples a valuable lesson from this encounter. He goes on to explain to them that the widow's offering, though minuscule in monetary value, is more significant in the eyes of God than the larger sums of money that were given by the wealthy. And this is because, unlike the wealthy, the widow gave everything she had to live on. In other words, the widow's offering was indeed a true sacrifice reflecting her deep faith and devotion. In essence, the widow's offering teaches us that true giving is about our willingness to make sacrifices for the good of others. Last week, I know a lot of boys sitting in front of me weren't able to be at the valedictory mass, but those that were may remember a quote that Mr. Ganane said as he finished his farewell speech to the seniors. He said, "May your actions be to gain respect, not attention." May your actions be to gain respect, not attention. And I think that relates to this message today. When helping out others, when giving up your time, when demonstrating service leadership, do it because it's the right thing to do. Do it for the service of others, not because you want someone to see you doing it. In a few moments, I'll be getting back on stage to go through a few opportunities this term where you could, through your service, make a real difference in the lives of those less fortunate in our community and in the wider community. We conclude in prayer. Lord, make me a channel of disturbance. Where there is apathy, let me provoke. Where there is compliance, let me bring questioning. Where there is silence, may I be a voice. Where there is too much comfort and too little action, grant disruption. Where there are doors closed and hearts locked, grant the willingness to listen. When law, dictate and pain is overlooked, grant that I may rather seek to do justice than simply to talk about it. To be with you as well as for you. To love the unlovable as well as the lovely. Lord, make me a channel of disturbance. And we conclude in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. I'd now like to call forward Mr. Corboy for his principal's address.
Good morning, everyone. Can I have Year 10s and Year 11s stand up, please? Okay. First of all, I want to sincerely congratulate these two year levels. Last week, we had our valedictory day, and we started off with a mass. I was standing at the front here, and the introduction, the first hymn, I actually had to move a little bit forward with the volume. And I said to these two groups at the end, that was a 10 out of 10. And I had to check that with others who were in front as well to see if I was off base, and they all concurred that that was extraordinary. The volume and the manner that you engaged in that mass was extraordinary. And I thank you on behalf of the families, because as I left here and started talking to the families, that was a comment that they mentioned about the way that the Year 10s and the Year 11s engaged in that mass and made it really special. It sounded like 900 boys were in this room. So a sincere thank you. Can I get you to put your hands together and give yourselves a round of applause too? I'd also like to congratulate everybody here for that very reason, in the way that you conducted yourselves to make that day special for our Year 12s and their families. The way that you did that guard of honour, the way you engaged with the families and those boys as they walked through there, the way that you made Brother Kev and Brother Steve feel special. That, again, was the only other word I can use, is extraordinary. It was a highlight for those families. I've received email after email expressing their thanks. So I'd like to pass that on to you in the way that you conducted yourselves. As a group, put our hands together for that as well. And I also would like to acknowledge the boarding house. I had the privilege to be there on Thursday as they farewell the Year 12 boarders. Again, the manner those boys walked into the cheers and the applause of the boarding house, again, was extraordinary. So thank you to the boarding house and how you made them feel special and welcome too. All right, last Friday, as you see here, and I mentioned it during my speech about our 4 touchstones, and I asked Keen to do a student expression of those touchstones through the eyes of a student here. And I've just grabbed the first one, inclusive community, as you can see in front of me. And that's something that is at the core of who we are. As I've said before, as a school, inclusive is a simple word, but it's really deep in meaning and holds us to account. So we've got boys here who find their academics difficult and need some support in their learning needs, to boys who are, ducks of the school, vet student of the year, academic award winners and so on. And to be at St Brendan's will not be determined by your academic ability. Every single person is welcome here. Likewise in our co-curricular. We've got boys who have no interest in picking up a musical instrument to guys, as you'll hear in a moment. Sport. Okay, boys are not interested in playing sport, to those guys who've gone on to make a career out of it. We've got boys from different geographical locations. Everyone is welcome. Boys from different faith traditions. Everybody's welcome. Different cultures. What we saw out there on Friday with the boys dancing made us really proud. Every person is welcome here. What we ask of you is that you try to be the best version of yourselves. So I want to single out or put on notice two groups, and they're the very fringe of this entire community. And the first group's the 4 out of 10s, the ones who give us 1 to 4 out of 10 in regards to their attitude and effort, where they're just here and taking from the school, not buying to their education, in classes, being a nuisance, being referred to RTC on multiple times, and just not buying in what we're doing. If you continue, will not be welcome, and I'll explain in a moment. The second group is a bit more insidious. The ones who go against everything that I mentioned about being inclusive, where we build people up, where we acknowledge them for who they are. Yet I've heard stories over the last few weeks where people have made fun of those who've been up on stage to get an academic award, or getting up there to play music, or being acknowledged for the talent that they have, something that we're very proud of. Grubs is a word that comes to mind, where they feel that they need to pull people down to make them feel good. Cheap comments, insidious comments where other people don't hear it. You don't have a place here. You don't want to be in my office where you're putting somebody down, bullying them, harassing them, making them feel less. If that's you, you aren't welcome here. I'll explain. This morning I went to the enrolments office, opened the drawer, pulled out just one file. In that drawer there were seven of these, and these are the ones of the boys who are on the waiting list, who want to be here. And that's one drawer. And I know there's 2 drawers. One folder out of 7 just in that one drawer. Grab the top one. Okay. This one is a family who is moving to the coast, so they're from out west. Let's have a look. This is a principal's report. So these are categorised. So the first one is, in my opinion, in his studies he has shown either well above average, average, above average, below average. So he's well above. Application, excellent, in a 5-point scale. In my view, his conduct at the school is exemplary. Again, the top of those categories. I consider him to be a boy of exceptional character. He does rugby league, schoolboys cup, and it gives him great pleasure as a principal to recommend him to this school. His report. Let's get to his report. Okay. As you can see, I've highlighted his attitude and effort. But I will tell you, he'd be an academic A+, 2 Bs, 3 As, a C and a satisfactory in regards to unsatisfactory or satisfactory. His behaviour, his efforts, excellent, 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 very good, excellent, satisfactory and excellent. His effort, excellent, very good, excellent, excellent, very good, excellent. 1, he can't get here. And we're sitting here with boys, admittedly a very, very few, who are holding a position and keeping that guy out. It's unjust, it's unfair. You don't want to buy into what we're doing, go somewhere else. You're in my office where you're bullying, making somebody else's life difficult, pulling somebody down, you are not welcome. It's simple. Whether you're here or not, this place will continue. We want those people here who are going to take full advantage of this place. So, on notice. The second point that I'd like to make is that last week our boys finished. You didn't. You did a great job. It was just a fantastic week where we celebrated the talents of people, acknowledged them, and it was just an outstanding week to be part of. But your turn is not now. You're week 4 of an 8-week term. You've got a semester of work to complete. You need to do the exams, you've got assignments to do. Make sure you finish off well. Don't be one of those people who are on notice, because we'll be looking for you. Because that family rings us every 2 weeks. One of just that pile, 7 in a drawer, 2 drawers. So you imagine how many phone calls we're getting per week. We're wanting to find out if there's a space. Okay? If you're on notice and you know you're one of those people, you need to turn it around. For everybody else, it's your responsibility to call it out, because they won't put somebody down in front of us. They'll do it in your friendship group or that group where they're making comments to make somebody feel poor. When I was growing up in Victoria, they had this thing called dobbing a dope dealer. Drugs was insidious, destroying lives. In those days, ice was just hitting, and what you had bikie gangs and people lacing marijuana with ice to get people hooked. They were selling it outside of some schools in country Victoria. And as a society, as a government, they said enough is enough. And we want you to dob in these lowlives. And as a community, they did. They told the police what nightclubs this was being sold at. They told the police who was involved, and we called people out. Now I'm saying to you as a community, we want you to call out poor behaviour. People who work against exactly what that frame is about. Inclusion, celebration, and lifting people up to be the best versions of themselves. Don't let boys within your cohort allow to destroy others or put people down. Bad things happen because good people allow it to happen. Make sure you call it out, because it's not the responsibility of the person who's on the receiving end to do that. It's the people who are in the friendship group who are hearing this or seeing it. Okay? So, on notice. For the rest of the 4 weeks, please, please, please really get into your studies, head down, work hard, finish off well, and celebrate a great year that we've had so far. Thanks very much.
Since our last assembly, we have had students representing the region in track and field, strutting their stuff on the sand at the CQ Surf League, splashing their way to victory in the pool, and spiking all before them in the inter-school volleyball competition. Recently, we had a small contingent of students compete at the Queensland School Sport Track and Field Championships. There were some fantastic results which included the following. Tyler Slater finishing 8th in the 12 years shot put, Zane Kyler finishing 2nd in the 13 years shot put and 5th in the 13 years discus, and Kobe Scanlon 9th in the 3,000 metres and 11th in the 15,000 metres respectively. Could we please give those guys a round of applause? As more results come to hand from those championships, we'll publicise those achievements at a later date. The St Brendan Surf League team swam, paddled and ran themselves to a standstill, eventually claiming 4th place overall at last week's CQ Schools Surf League Carnival. Not a bad result considering the majority of schools at this event have 2 genders to help accrue points. Some of the individual results included Henry McGilvray finishing 1st in his board race and 2nd in his Ironman event, Hugo Jennings 2nd in his beach flags, Aidan Steeg 1st in his board, Isaac Thomas 1st in his beach sprint, Caden Parsons 3rd in his surf race, 1st in his board and 2nd in his Ironman, and Fletcher Scanlon, who finished 3rd in his board, 3rd in his Ironman, 2nd in his beach sprint, 2nd in his beach flags, and being awarded the 16 and over age champion. Congratulations to those students and the entire team. Our water polo and volleyball teams have started their season strongly with some good performances. In the pool, St Brendan's was the winner with our junior green and gold teams battling it out against each other in round 1. The boys in gold are very much looking forward to a rematch where they can exact some revenge on their green counterparts when their paths cross later in the season. The volleyball team have been training hard under the tutelage of Mrs Carroll. In what is a short season, the boys have gelled quickly and are proving to be very difficult to beat. The long limbs of Narassi Jimmy have been a presence at the net, and he's been ably assisted by Riley, Cooper and Andrew in the backcourt, who are chasing down anything that gets past him. Keep up the good work, boys. Lastly, just an important notice, if we can go to the next slide, please. Term 4 Team Photo Day will be held next Wednesday, the 1st of November. Teams involved in this include the All Schools Touch Football under 13 and under 15 teams, our Sevens Rugby 13 A and B and 15 A and B teams, Senior Volleyball, Dolphins Challenge, 9A Rugby League, Chess and Junior AFL. Students are required to bring their playing gear, so that's socks, boots or shoes depending on the sport, and obviously playing shorts, because it's our last opportunity of the year to get those team photos finalised. And lastly, I'd just like to finish on 2 things that we can work on as a group. Firstly, the amount of rubbish being left behind in the hall after first and second breaks is disgusting. If this doesn't improve by the end of this week, there'll be no handball in the hall during breaks for the remainder of the term. I've got better things to do with my time than pick up after students who are too lazy to walk 5 metres to put their stuff in a bin. Lastly, post pads. Post pads are the bane of my existence. They're placed on our goalposts to minimise your risk of injury when playing on our football fields. If for whatever reason you see one lying around on the ground and not on a post where it should be, could you please do me a favour and place it back where it belongs? Once again, I don't think I need to be walking around 4 different football fields replacing the post pads that you've removed to sit on after school. So if you could assist me there, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Good morning, staff and boys. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mrs Minto and I'm just standing in for Mrs Morley this term. I have only started in the last couple of terms, but I think that some of you might remember back in term 2 doing the Australian History competition and the Australian Geography competition. We have recently received our results in that, and all of the boys who have participated will receive a participation certificate. However, there are several students that have achieved a credit or higher, and I'd like to present their certificates today. For those of you who have received a participation certificate, you'll get those from your class teacher probably next week. So I'll start with the boys who have achieved a credit in the history competition, and if I could ask Mr Corbo to come up and present their awards. Can we just hold the applause to the end of each section? I'll indicate to you when to clap. Okay, first, for Year 7 credits, we have Daly Cooper, Owen Rowlands. For Year 8, this is for the history competition, Sam Clements, Will Kersey, Sam Solly. For Year 9, Nate Smith, Jack Bartlam, Victor Comiskey, Nicholas Eaton, Michael Hutchinson, and for Year 10, Tate Caffrey, Max Christensen, Matthew Dunwoody, Killian Finnell, Oliver Hunt, Charlie Kidd, and Caden Parsons. Could we have a round of applause for those boys receiving credit? The boys receiving a merit for the Australian History Competition are in Year 7, Isaiah Coker, Matthew Locke, William Parsons, Ethan Vizintis, Year 8, Beau Cossett, Logan Cotter-Drake, Lucas Cross, Josh Edwards, Kial Fatoy, Zane Keeler, Kobe Kidd, Leon Leonard, Luke Roberts, Daly Smith in Year 9, Isaac Harding, and in Year 10, Ezekiel Curran. And that's for the merit certificate for the Australian History Competition. Round of applause for those boys.
Zane, come forward, Zane. Kobe, you're next. Yes, Kobe. Leon, come forward. Luke's. Luke, yeah. Daly. Isaac and Zeke, perfect.
Okay, receiving a distinction, which is pretty special. In Year 8, we have Alexander Campbell and Caleb Todman, if you can make your way to the stage, please. And in Year 9, we have Callum Schmidt. Well done, boys. Moving on to the Australian Geography Competition. I'm not sure if Year 7's participated in this one. I've only got certificates for 8s, 9s and 10s. So receiving a credit in Year 8, Marshall Boswood, Willis Dean, Caleb Teeney, Mitch Tweed. In Year 9, Oliver Bennett, Carter Hughes, Oliver King, Kobe Scanlon, Archie Watts, in Year 10, Jesse Emery, Will McKellar, Mackenzie Watts, and Oliver Miles.
Kobe swap with Mac. Archie, sorry. Archie and Kobe swap opposites.
Can we have a round of applause for the credit, please? In Year 8, receiving a distinction in the Australian Geography Competition, we have Zavane Chapman, Lincoln Luke, Eli Bennett, and in Year 9, Ty Gretton. In Year 9, a round of applause for the boys receiving a distinction, thank you. We also have quite a few students who've received a high distinction in the geography competition. In Year 9 we have Morgan Bridgman, Mason Fuller, William Lees, Joshua Malcolm, Eden Quinn, Xander Thornton, and in Grade 10, Quinton Green. Well done, boys. And last but not least, could I please ask Charlie Green in Year 8 to come to the stage? It's with great pleasure that I ask Charlie down here because he has achieved a result that places him in the top 1% of the nation in the Australian Geography competition. So congratulations, Charlie. Thanks very much, everybody.
Well done.
Good morning, staff and boys. Last term, the Arts Department and Clontarf entered a number of Indigenous and Torres Strait Islander students' artworks into the QuatSIF art competition. We are happy to announce that 12 students have taken out awards, which was one of the biggest schools that took out awards in this competition, so we should be very proud of these boys. Students who have received a placing in this competition go on the Queensland State Archives and will remain as a permanent record of their art and achievements. Additionally, up to 3 artworks will be selected from all submissions, which was 204 for the 2024 QuatSIF promotional coffee mugs. These coffee mugs will be presented to Indigenous elders and special guests at the QuatSIF 2024 events. If your art is selected, they will contact you for permission before using your artwork and will send you 5 mugs to share with your family. What an incredible accomplishment for these boys. I would like to invite Mr. Corboy to help present the following awards. If your name is called, please come to the stage to receive your award. Thomas Brown, first place for Year 9 printing. Now, some of the Year 10s are on camp at the moment, so they might not be here, but we'll still acknowledge them. Jackson Wyman, second place, Year 10 watercolour. Jack Armat, second place, Year 7 drawing. He did a beautiful crocodile artwork. Clint Kabai, second place, Year 7 mixed medium. Nate Muller, second place, Year 9 portraiture. Harold Chris, second place, Year 9 print art. I'll still acknowledge the student, but he has currently left the school. Elwyn Miller, third place, Year 10 watercolour. Tazaya Inkerman, 3rd place Year 7 drawing. Jakeel Cobb, 3rd place Year 7 mixed medium. Jackson Wyman again, 3rd place Year 9 portraiture. Trigger Benduraho, highly commended Year 10 watercolour. And last but not least, Ashton Watkins, highly commended Year 9 print art. Can we please congratulate these boys one more time? If you would like to see their artworks, keep an eye out on social media for when we post those artworks. Thank you very much, guys.
Good morning, staff and students. Firstly, apologise for the notices this morning. You might have seen one that said Tech Club is on this afternoon, Tech Club is not on this afternoon. Just to clarify, it's not on this afternoon. Unfortunately, I can't make it, but it will be starting up again next week. So St Brendan's has been invited to participate in the Hydrogen Cup Grand Prix. It's a massive competition, been running about 15 years. There's 20 countries from around the world that do it, several hundred teams. And how it works is, next year we compete against all the teams in Queensland. The winner of that goes straight to Worlds, which will be in Europe. But I might get Mr. Jorgensen to play the clip, and then I'll tell you how to get involved afterwards. Thanks.
This is a fantastic experience.
Is it really real that we are here? Because it's such a great opportunity.
We've put all the work in, and I think we just have to keep pushing through to the end, make sure that we're focused and that we've, aim for the top.
Oh, Waldorf gets it wrong on the straightaway. Oh no, they're having issues. Oh no, Team Bulgaria is now a race to the line.
All of those that participated in the H2 Grand Prix program are truly impressive. Their ability to take something and live within a set of parameters, develop and build a car that not only functions but has endurance and that operates off hydrogen is truly inspirational. The skills they've gotten here are going to serve them well into the future.
You have an entire team of people, some people focusing on driving, some people on focusing on getting the engine to run better. All of that comes together so that the car runs faster and runs better. I mean, if you can't have a group of people that can work together for a vision, make the sacrifices for the good of the team, everybody feeling like their voice can be heard, that everybody can make one more little addition and make it everything better, it's extremely important. And that's exactly what you want as an employer.
Thanks, guys. So it's pretty much Formula One for high school students. We're going to need team leaders, mechanics, drivers, fundraisers, marketers, and everything else. So if you are interested in that, we're just registering interest this term. We're going to get into building the cars from week 1 next year. But if you are interested, please come see myself or Mr. Barnes from boarding, and we'll get your name and get started. On another note, I'd like to congratulate, we had an esports competition term 3 last year. Both Joseph Stubbins and Oliver Bennett won their competitions. It's not a small deal. It was an Australia-wide competition. Each of them had about 100 competitors that they both won against, and they won their Australian-wide competitions. So quick clap to them, please. And that's it for me. Next we have Mr. Pierce. No? Yeah, Mr. Pierce.
Gentlemen, in my reflection this morning, I indicated that there's a couple of things I just wanted to speak to you about. There's about 4 or 5. I'll just spend a minute on each. The very first thing I'd just like to mention to you, and you might remember last year the school engaged in a program called Socktober. Now, Socktober is the Catholic mission fundraising opportunity that happens across all schools and across all departments in the month of October. Now, last year we raised about $1,200 towards Socktober. Thank you to all the boys who have been putting their loose change into the tin in the canteen. I really appreciate those small little amounts of money. All of that over the last 2 terms have added up to about $540. So we've taken $540 from just that loose change in the tuck shop. Now that money is going to go towards Socktober this year, as will a fundraiser that we have planned, which I'll explain in a minute. But just firstly, I'll quickly just put up a short 30-second video, promo video for you.
This is Socktober, and we kick goals for good. We kick them for every child like Jose who dreams of a better life. And with teamwork, we can make a real difference. Will you answer the call and join our team today? Be a part of something great. Sign up now at socktober.org.au and kick goals for good.
Kick goals for good!
Boys, I've registered a team for the college. Now that team has a specific link that I'm going to get, given our Facebook page is down, that's going to get promoted through the Instagram account in the next couple of days. If all of you are able to simply donate $1 to that cause, that would raise the best part of $1,000 just from the boys sitting in front of me now. So for those who can, I really appreciate going on to that link. Now that link will take you direct to the St Brendan's page, and you'll see that I've set that up with $1,000 as the goal. And if we can raise that $1,000 there, as well as the $500 we've got from the canteen, that'll surpass what we raised last year. You might remember Mr. Greg Clare was here only a couple of assemblies ago explaining where that money went and showing his support and appreciation for all the effort that went into that fundraiser. Okay. On top of that link and the money from the canteen, next Wednesday, second break, as we did last year, we are going to be having a penalty shootout in the hall at second break. So it's a gold coin donation, and we'll just see how good your soccer skills are. We'll find out who the best goalkeepers are between now and then. We'll get them in the nets, and if you are able to get a ball through that net, there'll be some prizes there for you. So yes, there are some prizes, but also it's a great opportunity to fundraise some money for this worthwhile cause. So that's October. The next thing that I'm going to mention is something that you're fairly familiar with. We've been doing it for about 5 years now, and that's the Dignity Handbags. Our hope is in the final week of this term, we're going to have an assembly, and it'd be fantastic if we could, when we invite Samara back from the Rockhampton Women's Shelter to present those handbags, we were able to do for her what we have been able to do for many years now, which is to provide Dignity handbags to those people who are in most need. Now, a Dignity handbag, the call for you is to go home, now not just take, I have a wife, I know how expensive these handbags can be, go home, ask your mum or the person you live with if you have, or if she has a handbag that maybe she's willing to let go of, or maybe that she doesn't need anymore. If you can bring that handbag in and place it in the hands of Miss Deasy in H Block, what we'll then call for is items that we might be able to put into those handbags. Now these items are things that sometimes when we talk about domestic violence, and we do a fantastic job in May promoting that as a college, but sometimes people do need to leave their homes due to domestic violence and they don't have an opportunity to grab those things that they sort of would need in the coming days. So those things could be soaps and deodorants and sanitary products. Sometimes there's small children with them, so it might be some items for a small child, toothbrush, toothpaste, just those sorts of things, combs. If you're able to, next time you go grocery shopping, just throw a couple of those items in the cart. Once again, let mum know you're doing that, and then bring those in as well. And through your generosity, hopefully we'll be able to provide the Rockhampton Women's Shelter with some dignity handbags. And as Samara says every year, we give, I think, well over 100 handbags and they're gone within a few weeks. Okay, that's how significant the issue is, and that's how appreciative they are of what we provide as a college. So that's the next one. All of these things are in the daily notices. So hopefully, as you're hearing about them now, you have been hearing about them for a week or so as your PC teacher's been reading them out in the daily notices. The next thing I'd like to talk to you about is the Christmas appeal. Okay? There's a few fundraising opportunities, and I apologise for them all being in term 4, but as it turns out, just with Christmas, the season of giving, it's a festive time, that sometimes is the saddest time for lots of families in our community, because their Christmases aren't as festive as maybe yours may be, okay, due to disadvantage, due to, as we just spoke about, domestic violence, due to socio-economic factors. So there's really a lot of community organisations, especially around this time, from October through to December, who are really putting their hand up and saying, St Brendan's, can you help us? And every year we are able to help in the DV space, we help in the Socktober, but we also help in the Christmas appeal. So basically what the Christmas appeal is the school will get some laundry baskets, and hopefully through the generosity of yourself and your families, you will be able to bring in some items that some small boys and girls might receive for Christmas. Because when you wake up for Christmas, and if you're lucky enough to receive a gift or multiple gifts, that's something that lots of boys and girls don't get to experience at Christmas. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a space or create an opportunity where children who are living in families that maybe can't afford those luxury items like Christmas presents are still able to wake up on Christmas morning and receive something. So if you would like to buy or maybe you've got something at home, a gift that might be suitable for a child, I'd encourage you to please bring that in, and that'll go a long way towards brightening someone's day Christmas morning. Maybe you don't have the finances yourself for a gift. We also do hampers, so if you'd like to bring in cans of food or bonbons or different things that could be put together, because we also give families a Christmas hamper so that come Christmas lunchtime, they've at least got some some food that the family can sit around on Christmas Day and partake in as a family. Okay, so that's another thing that's in the notices, and another thing that I strongly encourage you to consider bringing in. I spoke earlier this morning about sacrifice, and it might be a situation where you don't ask mum or you don't ask dad. Maybe it's your pocket money that might go towards some of these items. That's an example of sacrifice, putting your money towards a good cause where it otherwise could have gone towards something that would benefit you. So I asked you please just to consider that in the next couple of weeks. 2 quick ones. The boys in Year 12 are now gone, and with that we've lost a lot of our volunteer helpers. Liam Johnson in particular had been coming to the Eddie's van for 2 years. So I got a little bit complacent some weeks because I just knew that I'd have a group of boys who were going to be reliable and were going to be there. Once again, service leadership, leading by example, sacrificing their time for the betterment of others. I'd ask you in years 10 and 11, that said, if you're in years 7 to 9 and you want to experience the Eddie's van, there's no reason you can't. Come along and have a chat to me, we can make that work. But predominantly boys in year 10 and 11, you've only got about 5 weeks left. I'd ask you to really consider being part of the Eddie's van. It's a 4:15 to a 5:30 commitment every Thursday. You've just got to meet in the main teacher's staff room. Even if you haven't done it before, I'll show you what to do. It's pretty straightforward. It's an opportunity to get involved, to put others ahead of yourself. It's also an opportunity to go down and to have a conversation with some of the community members and just hear and see the different struggles that people are dealing with. If you would like to be part of that, I would encourage you to see your head of year, get your name on the roster just so I know who's going to be there. Ideally, every week, we like about 3 or 4 boys. That's a really good number just to get everything prepared, to get down to the venue. So sometimes when I do what I'm doing now and I mention it at an assembly, what happens is I get about 10 boys one week and then I get no boys the next week. Okay, so I'd ask you to just see your heads a year, get on the roster, just so we can try and get 3 or 4 boys each week. That'd be fantastic. And the last one, and I'll get off the stage, the last one is the Eddie's Camp. Now, the Eddie's Camp is a camp, and we've spoke about disadvantaged children this morning. The Eddie's Camp is a camp we offer here at the college. The college, through their generosity, offer all of our facilities for free to an organisation called Eddie Rice Camps Queensland. So these people who operate out of Brisbane fly up for a week. They use all the college facilities. They use our dorm, our catering department, provide the food. And what we do is we are in a position, given all the facilities, the wonderful facilities we have here at the college, to give boys and girls, usually primary school age, an opportunity just to have a bit of fun. We take them down to the lagoon, they play heaps of games, they interact with the students from St Ursula's and St Brendan's, who act as a bit of a big buddy for that time. Now, I spoke about this at the last assembly, which was about 3 weeks ago, and I've got at the moment 7 boys who have registered. So I was speaking to the organiser yesterday. She's still chasing another 3 or 4. The catch is you've got to be 16 in order to be left with the one-on-one buddy program. So if you are sitting here and by December you are going to be 16 and you haven't nominated, but it's something that maybe might interest you, I would encourage you in the next couple of days. She really needs to know by next Friday. So the next couple of days, come and see me. I will email you the online form. It'll take about 30 seconds to fill in. Okay, but I do ask you to check with your parents. It's that first week of your holidays. Teachers are still here, but it's that first week of your holidays, which is the 27th of November through to the 1st of December. Okay, there'll be a couple of days of training and different things, and then the Wednesday, the Thursday and the Friday morning of that first week will be when the little buddies are here and you'll be engaging in that camp experience. So if you are interested or you think that's something you might be able to do, I would also encourage you to come and see me, because that's a really worthwhile, a really important part of who we are. It's called the Eddie Rice Camp because we talk about Eddie Rice a lot at the college, about working with people on the margins, about trying our best to be the man that Eddie Rice was, to represent who he is in 2023. And the Eddie Rice Camp is once again another perfect example of how we as a college can do that. Thank you, gentlemen. I'd now just like to call up Mr. Ingram, who's going to talk to you. Thanks, Mr. Ingram.
Thank you, Mr. Peers. A lot of wonderful things there. We've got a couple of performances for you to finish off this assembly, and 2 of them are from our senior students who've come back in this morning to share their talents. So Mackenzie O'Connor, he has just completed his grade 6 certificate. He's going to play one of his performance pieces on guitar. As he's playing this guitar over a backing track, which you'll be able to hear, he's wearing headphones to allow all of this to happen through syncing it up through the magic of Mr. Jorgensen at the back. So please enjoy Mackenzie as he plays one of his favourites, an Alicia Keys number called If I Ain't Got You.
If I ain't got you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Some people live for the fortune.
I think you have to agree that was a very beautiful and amazing performance. Give him another round of applause. Lots of practice, lots of hard work go into it, but he's bought in and we're going to see many wonderful things from Mackenzie. And we'd now like to introduce next year's musical, but before we throw that on the table, it's a musical with a very strong female lead. So before we tell you what that musical is, we're going to show you a film clip to show you why we selected it. And after looking at that, you'll be able to see the many strong male roles that are within this musical. I'm pretty sure nearly everyone will know it once you've watched the clip.
As they ebb and they flow. And guess what? I don't care!
As for me, I'm about to leave her.
One day I'll be crowned and they'll force me to wed. But till then, I've got places to go. It feels like my destiny's calling instead from mysterious fathoms below. What I'd give if just one said hello.
So I'm pretty sure you all know it's The Little Mermaid. We will be asking for expressions of interest before the end of the term so that we can start working on costumes and set designs and things like that. Rehearsals will start week 4 of term 1, as will people who are interested in being leads will then audition for those parts at that time. So looking forward to seeing your involvement. Maybe you just want to help us backstage. Maybe you want to help us with sets. There's many jobs, again, to get in and help someone else to have that opportunity to do their part and shine. So let's finish with our last musical item. Oops. It's Jasper. Thank you. Why should he be on time before now? So Jasper's going to play one of his favourite pieces, again through the technology of Mr. Jorgensen, through headphones. He'll be all synced up to the backing track, and he's going to play Tunnel of Love by Dire Straits. Hope you enjoy it.
And I've been riding on a ghost train where the cars they scream and slam, and I don't know where I'll be tonight, but I'd always tell you where I am. And screaming in your faces, I seen her standing in the light. She had a ticket for the race, yeah, just like me, she was a victim of the night. I put my hand upon the lever, said let it rock and let it roll. I had the one-armed bandit fever. There was an arrow through my heart and my soul, and the big wheel keep on turning, neon burning up above, and I'm just high on the world. Come on, take a low ride with me, girl, on the tunnel of love, yeah, love. It's just a danger, and when you're riding at your own risk, she said you're a perfect stranger. She said, baby, let's keep it like this. It's just a kick, walk, twist and maybe a step right up and see. Hey, mister, give me two now. There's any two can play. And the big wheel keep on turning, neon burning up above, and I'm just high on the world. Come on, take a low ride with me, girl, on the tunnel of love, oh, love. Well, it's been money for muscle on another worldly day, money for muscle and another girl I date, another hustle just to make it big and rock away, rock away. Oh, rock away, rock away. Girl, it looks so pretty to me, like it always did. Oh, like the Spanish city to me, when we were kids. Yeah, girl, it looks so pretty to me, just like it always did. Oh, like the Spanish city to me, when we were kids.
That concludes the music part of this morning's assembly.
Thanks, Mr. Ingram, and thanks, Jasper. Boys, I might just get you to sit up, please. I know you've been here for a long time, but just a couple of things. When I was sitting in Mr. Reddy's office this morning and knew I had to make the final dismissals, I thought, well, what would I want to talk about? And I'd realised I hadn't had the opportunity yet to thank you all for your participation in the Rugby League Grand Finals back in September. In my time, 23, 24 years at the college, it was one of the proudest moments of my association here. And I'm not talking about the win of the Opens. We've won clutch football games before. Don't get me wrong, it was a hell of a game. It was a cracker and kept everyone in their seats. But my proud moment occurred at the start of the Golden Point time. So the boys had been out there for an hour of football and the scores were still even, right? So the game at that point could have gone either way. My proud moment was when all of the spectators spontaneously started singing the school song. Old boys were there, current students, everyone was there. You lifted the roof off that old grandstand at Brown Park, and I couldn't have been any more proud of the way that you sang that. And I asked a lot of the people who were out there at the time, Tommy Green, what did you think? And he said, I couldn't stop smiling. And he said, just calm me down. Mr. Kaplick was still on the field then. He was running water and talking to the boys. Mr. Kaplick said, at that moment, I knew we were going to win. Mr. Minto was across the far side of the oval, said the hairs stood up on his arm. And Gary DeForno, father of William and Cameron, not a man normally prone to sentimentality, I can tell you, if you know Gary, Gary shed a tear and said he was so proud that his sons are associated with the school. So when Mr. Corboy talked about buy-in this morning, that's buy-in. The way that you did that to support your fellow schoolmates out there, the way that you sang that together, and the way that you recognise that that song is something special to this community, that was something else. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to congratulate you for that. And I think that's a pretty good time to end our assembly. Year 11s, can I get you to exit out the back doors, please? Boys on this side, can you exit out those doors? Oh, Year 9, sorry, you're staying.